I have around 1 million hobbies, and a thrift store makeover is one of them. I found this wooden house quite a while ago, but never had any idea what to do with it until last week. I thought the shape reminds me of Big Ben, so let's try it out. The first thing I had to do was take it apart. There were a few screws holding everything together, and I also found a couple of little splits in the wood that needed some attention. Nothing too dramatic, which was nice because I was just getting back into crafting and I wasn't quite ready for a disaster yet. Once everything was fixed, I started with a base coat. The little windows on the front were going to get in the way of my design, so I covered those up first. I then painted the whole project in this light brown color. For the roof, I wanted to add a little bit of color. I had this light green acrylic marker and I thought, why not? It's not exactly traditional Big Ben colors, but I like it. And watch this satisfying second coat. Then it was time to tackle the clock. I masked off the circle, and for once, my tape actually fit perfectly. I'm always slightly suspicious when something works on the first try. I needed a brown color. Now, I only had a light brown and a really dark brown. So instead of buying another color, I decided to see if I could make my own middle shade. And actually, I really like this color. This is definitely something I'm going to remember for another project. I decided on gray instead of white for the clock face. So I started with this gray base and I left a little ring around the outside because I wanted the darker brown to frame the clock, and I'm going over with a black outline in the end. Here's a little trick I use when I'm masking something. Use the color underneath the tape to create a seal. So when you go over with the second color, you don't mix them together. It creates a fine line between the two different colors. And then I got to the part I wasn't quite sure about, the rest of the tower. I was thinking about gold or maybe silver, and honestly, I wasn't convinced by either one. I decided to try silver on the inside, but the silver was really thin, and I would have needed hundreds of coats. So I cheated a little bit. I used a gray base coat first and then put the silver over the top. And that actually worked really well. Things started to go a little downhill. I wanted to paint the darker sides around the clock, so I used tape again. Except there was a little problem I hadn't really thought about. The opener. Because of that, the two sides weren't the same width. And suddenly, my beautiful Big Ben was looking a bit, let's say, wonky. I decided to fix the width of the second column, so masked out everything again and made it a bit bigger, and now it looks better. And just when I thought I had fixed everything, I added the top outline, and then I noticed something else. The clock wasn't centered. At this point, I had two choices: start again or pretend I had planned it that way. I decided to make the bottom part bigger so it was centered. For the front, I really wanted to add the actual clock details, but I wasn't sure I could pull it off. I thought about making something much simpler, but in the end I decided just to give it a try. There was just one tiny problem. Apparently, I had forgotten how numbers work because I somehow managed to put 2 sevens on the clock. I'm blaming the crafting brain. I will go and fix this now. So we're just going to pretend that never happened. Okay, question. Have you ever noticed that whenever you see a printed clock on something, it is always 10 past 10 or 10 to 2? I cannot unsee this and thought I will use this as a little Easter egg on my clock. Once all the painting was finished, it was time to put everything back together. And this is always the moment where I start wondering, did I actually make something nice, or did I just spend several hours making a mess? And here he is, my little Big Ben. And honestly, I really like him. If you enjoy thrift store makeovers, let me know what you would pick up and turn into something completely different. And I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!